Hi folks, welcome to the second project, part 1 video for the Microsoft Excel class known as INF 1060 Spreadsheets with Northern Links College. We're going to be starting on page EX66 of, once again, this textbook here. And we'll be doing it in 2 parts, similar to the way we did project 1 in the Excel class. We're starting on page EX66 and 67. As previously mentioned, the project is called HyperMass Online Storage Salary Report. So your first step is always to, from the desktop screen, open up Microsoft Excel and clicking the blank workbook. Now, turning the page to EX70, the first couple of pages there's an actual image of what you'll be creating, but doesn't actually have the steps associated. So we have to start column A, row 1, have that selected, and we have to type in HyperMass Online Storage, and then we go down to A2, and we type in salary report. And that takes care of the top part of page EX70, red circled 1 and 2. We then move down the page to enter the column titles, and we follow the information accordingly. So in cell A3, we type employee, and we move the arrow to the right 1, so to B3, and we type dependents. Now you can push the right arrow key again to type in hours. Now we're going to type hours, and we want to type in or push Alt Enter as per EX70, red circle 3. So we push Alt Enter, and then we're going to type in worked. And you notice what happened there is it just put it one line below. Now you can push Tab to go to the next slide over. And in cell D3, we type hourly, and then Alt Enter again, and they want pay rate. Tab or right symbol to E3, and we're doing gross pay. Tab or right arrow key going to F3, and we type in federal tax. In G3, we type in state tax. In H3, we type in tax percent. And in I3, we type in net pay. And in J3, we type in hire date. That takes us to the top of EX71. And then we have to actually enter in the salary data on the second half of page EX71. So we're going to go back to the A4 section. And as per red circle 1 below the to enter salary data on page EX71, we are typing in Carl, Michael in cell A1, A4. And in B4, so dependents where he has 3, hours worked is 60.45. In D4, it's 19.5. And notice how D4 doesn't get it gets information, sorry. E4 does not get information. F4 does not get information. G, H, and I do not get information. J4 gets information. And we're going to type in 4, 5, 10 as his start date. Now, these boxes have to remain blank because they're going to be filled in using auto sum functions and calculation functions within Excel. When you submit this document, I'll be able to see right away if you typed in the answers that are available in the book at later pages, or if you use the actual sum calculation formulas that we're looking for in the project. So please don't just type in the answers here. You will not earn full marks for the assignment. What we have to do for the rest of this section, though, is you'll notice table 2.1, it says HyperMass online storage salary report data at the bottom of the page. I'm going to show you this document, right, part of the document right there. That's what we're filling in for the rest of this document. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to fill this in. So Nichols, Peter, Pearson, Ada, Rodriguez, Juan, Williams, Sean, and Wowzin. And we're going to go back up and we're going to do the dependents. So to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 0, and 4. Then we do hours work. We fill this in again, so it becomes 81.5, 69.5, 65.25, 71.25, 44.65, 55.5, 80, 70, and then hourly pay rate, we already have the first one done, 22.85, 17.36, 19.45, 12.60, 22.45, 20.15, 20.85, 18.75. And we got to go all the way over to the date of hires, and we got to enter it in just the way they show. 1/13/09, 3/1, 12, 4/15/11, 10/31/08, 7/15/09, 5/14/09, 6/17/02. And that brings us to the end of page EX17. We then have to add some more totals information below the people. So we have below Yaozin, we have to type in totals, and then we have to type in highest, lowest, and average. We're going to double tap or double click the sheet 1 tab. So it's down here at the bottom. Double click it, and we're going to call this tab salary report. And we can click and hold this. Click tab color. And we're going to do green, accent 6, darker 25%. So green, accent 6, darker 25%, and there we go. That's the tab color I want to see when you submit this. At the top of page EX73, we're going to tap or click the Save button, and we're going to basically save this assignment to wherever we want to save it on our own computers so that we can access it later just in case. We're going to click Save As. You're going to click Browse. Most of you are going to save it to your NLC M drive or your thumb drive that you were given. I save it to my thumb drive that has all the Info Pro classes and the demonstration activity. So I'm going to call this INF 1060 HyperMass storage, HyperMass online storage. The demonstration file. I'm going to hit save. You know it's been saved because the title appears changed of the document, and now you can just hit this save button each time when you are ready to stop working on it, so you can pick it up again later. That is going to be the first part of the break here. Now I'm going to progress to the entrance of the formulas for this first part, and then we're going to call this first section a wrap, and we'll pick it up again on the second part. At the bottom of page EX73, it's giving you specific information about the formulas required to be entered. It's not the step-by-step how to enter it, but it's the written out information. So gross pay, column E, so this column here that I have highlighted on the screen, up to from basically here to here, is, well, to figure out this column, we have to take hours worked times hourly rate will give us their gross pay, so on and so forth. Each column's description is right there on page EX73. We're going to flip the page over, okay, and we are going to look at number 1, page EX74. So what we have to do is we have to put the equal sign, because remember that's what signifies formula usage, and we know that we have to take hours worked times hourly rate. So we have to take C1, remember, column C, row 4, I almost made a mistake there, so column C, row 4, then we have to do multiply, which is actually Shift 8, it's that little star on your keyboard. It's also above the 9 key on your number pad, if you have the standard Logitech keyboard within Northern Lakes College. And then you put D4. Now you notice 2 of these are highlighted, so we're taking hours worked times hourly rate, and then we can just unclick anywhere from this to make it calculate, and there it did the answer for us. Now, we should double check this, right? 1178.775, 1178.775. So we've done that accordingly right now. And that's what we needed to have happen. So now we need to make sure the federal tax, column F, row 4, is highlighted. And we're getting some pretty specific information here, aren't we? This gets into arithmetic operations and some order of operations. So, for example, we're following the bed mass procedure. Now, we're using Excel's formulas to find the answers, but you yourself, inputting the formula, you got to make sure that you put the formula in the right order, which is what this section is telling us, or the calculation will come out incorrectly. So I'm not going to read through this sheet with you, but page EX75 does have some important information if you incorrectly type the formula in. When we're looking at the federal tax, which is highlighted, we need to put equals. So again, we're starting the formula. We're at the top of page EX76, and we need to type in equals 0.22, or to do exactly what the textbook shows, 0.22, because the federal tax is 22% in this particular location. Then we have to put times, so Shift 8, bracket, if you tap or click the cell E4, it automatically puts in E4 in the bracket, and then you're going to end the bracket. So you're telling Excel to multiply 22%, or the decimal, 0.22, times whatever number is in E4. Once you've completed that, we need to look at removing this bracket first. We then have to do a minus sign, and we need to tap B4, so the dependent category. And now notice it's red. And then we have to put times 24.32 and bracket. Now that is the extent of the formula for this section. So now we should be able to click anywhere off the screen to let the calculation go. And we should get the same number that you'll see at the top of page EX77 in column F4. So that's 243.2793. So we have 243.2793. Now take a look at this. You can see the calculation in E4 we did previously and the calculation in F4 we've done just now. If you look at the actual typing bar here, formula bar, sorry, that's the formula that we've entered, but it's showing the answer on the screen. So the beautiful thing about Excel is we see the final answer. We don't see the background formulas. It does it all for you in real time. Now the next thing we have to do is the state tax. The state tax, top of page EX77, number 3 is, we're going to click G4, which we've done, column G, row 4. And we are going to, again, always start with the equal sign, because that's how it starts the formulas. We're going to type in 0.04, then the multiplication sign, which is again shift and 8. And then we're going to type in, or tap, E4. Okay, so we're going to tap E4. Boom. And we can unclick anywhere. Oh, sorry. We have to click E4, and then we can click right there. We can click Enter. 47.151, 47.151. It's perfect. Now we got to do the tax percentage. So we're in the red 4 on page EX77 now. And we're going to tap or click Enter box formula bar for G4. Okay. We're going to start off again with the equal sign. And we need to open the parentheses. Now we're going to click cell F4 to add that section. Okay, then we're going to do the plus sign, so that's shift and then the equal key to give you the plus sign. And then we're going to tip or click or add G4, so G4. Then we're going to close the bracket, so shift 0 to close the bracket. Then we're going to add a /, which is the same key as the question mark without the shift button being pushed. And then divided by E4. So we're going to find E4. So we took a look at this formula. This is where the bed mass comes into play. Anything in brackets is done first, and then you follow other multiplication or other mathematical steps afterwards. So we're going to add the two brackets together, the two columns together, and then divided by the gross pay to give us our tax percent. And when we're done, we should be able to push enter, and we should end up with a tax percent of 0.24683. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of page EX77. Now, our net pay, following along here, we click net pay. Again, equal sign. We always start with equal sign. And then we are going to start by clicking E4. And then we're going to do minus. Now you can click F4 again. And then you're going to we were supposed to, oh, no, that's right. First we have to open parentheses. E4 minus F4 plus, and you can type in G4 if you want. You don't always have to click it. You can just type in the category there. And at the end, we should be able to push enter, and we should get the answer of 888.3447. 888.3447. Perfect. So after all of that, we've got all the formulas properly entered for Carl Michael. Now, take a look at what EX 78 and 79 are showing you what to do. It's asking you to select E4 to I4. So you want to go this way first. Okay? Lift your finger, release the mouse button, and copy the formulas to the destination range. So what we're going to do here is we're then going to go like this. Highlight that way. Is not. There we go. So what I had to do was I had to select it from E4 to I4 and then drag the box down. And what it did is it copied the formulas to apply it to each other worker. And you can compare the answers right there on page EX79. All the numbers are the same. And I was able to do it once for Carl Michael and then just copy the formula entries for the rest of them. Now, if you click them all, you'll notice that all of the formulas are entered. We didn't actually do them ourselves. Excel did it for us. So that is where I want to take you to almost the end of the first lesson. I want to take you to the end of the totals. So we're going to use the totals for the sum button. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to click totals, and you're going to go like auto sum. So it goes up vertical. You just click auto sum, and then enter. You get the 598.1, and we can do totals here. Should be able to do it all at once. For auto sum, $460.26. Now we weren't supposed to do this one quite that way, but we can have 8617.888. So that's how you get all the sums figured out. So that's page EX80. Then we're going to do total tax percentage. So we're going to select H12, and we are going to look at you drag that fill handle down, and that's how you get in the tax percent total. Now the higher date we can't have totals for, and your pay rate is what we're going to do here. So, totals. Highest, you're going to put equals, and you're going to click insert function box. We're going to do max. And you're going to do the B4 to B12, B4 to B12. And we are going to then click OK. And it gave us the average of 4. Then we're going to look at, so that takes us to the end of page EX83. We're then going to do the same thing to determine the lowest. So again, we're going to start with equals. We're going to type min. Okay, and we're going to select min, bracket, no space, bracket, B4, colon, B12, and bracket. So now it's going to tell us what is the lowest number in this category. And then we hit enter. And it's going to come up as 0, because 0 is the lowest. Again, you could just type it in, but when I click your submission, if I don't see this in the formula bar, you won't get credit for it. Finally, average. So that brings us to the bottom of EX85. The top of EX86 tells us how to do the average. So we type, again, equals AV is the average shortcut. And then you would do bracket, B4, colon, B12, and bracket. And you would hit enter again. Now, it appears that I actually have to do average. Not AV, average, and you get the number 12. What we are going to do is we now want to have all of these copied. So we're going to, again, highlight the dependent because we've got to get the formulas, and we're going to drag this down. We're going to let it go. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Select the source range from which to copy the functions. In this case, B14 to B16. So B14 to B16. Okay. And then drag the fill handle to where you want it to stop. And it pulls it across. Notice 957.543. Verifying the formulas. Perfect. And that is where we're going to stop, because the second part of today's lesson is going to be the formatting of the document, adding color and whatnot. So again, save it. And if you have any questions, you can contact me here. And I look forward to you watching the second video of today's session.